Welcome to the Waylight. Today's passage for the reflection is taken from the Gospel according to St. John, chapter 21, verses 20 to 25. Yesterday we saw how Peter was under the guilt feeling and how Jesus helped Peter to overcome this particular guilt feeling of denial. Peter denied Jesus thrice, and Jesus came after the resurrection to Peter and appeared before him and asked him, Peter, do you love me? In that way, Jesus forgave Peter. At the same time, Peter understood and realized the mercifulness of God Himself. Now, on the very next day, on the very next today's gospel passage, that means today's passage, we see the envy of Peter towards the disciple whom Jesus loved so much. That must be St. John. Because St. John was the only disciple who had never left Jesus during the temptations and the passion of Jesus. So now Peter was envy towards this particular disciple and asked Jesus, what about this one? What about this man? See, very often we also do have this particular kind of envy towards others. We do not realize the mercy and the grace that we have received from God the Heavenly Father. When we connect this gospel passage or this situation to the previous gospel passage or yesterday's gospel passage, we can understand how generous Jesus was towards his disciple Peter. Jesus forgave Peter. At the same time, he gave the authority of the church, of those who all are partaking in the love of Christ, in the believing community. So Peter became the head of the community. Jesus gave that particular authority to the disciple Peter, but still he was envious towards John. He wanted to know what is going to happen with John. So Jesus understood a particular concern of Peter towards John. We cannot say that it's a kind of concern, but it's a bit envy. Because John was the only disciple who did not leave Jesus during the temptations and struggles. As we reflect upon the life of Peter, let us ask God's special grace to realize the grace and the benevolence that God has provided in our life situations and life also. Let us be grateful to God for that particular aspect. Let us be thankful to God instead of envying towards others. This is the thing that we have to realize. Instead of envying towards others, let us look upon ourselves. If at all we envy towards others, it must be in a positive manner in order to modify our life and in order to bring about a goodness in our life, that we have to have envy towards others in a positive manner. Otherwise, it is not going to bring about any changes, any positive changes in our life. It is going to bring about some distraction and disaster in our life. May God bless us all in order to understand the love of God, the mercifulness of God, and not to have envy towards others. Instead, to look upon our life in a positive manner in order to understand the providence that God had brought about in our life in a graceful way. May God bless us all.